Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. Wishing you all a very happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope it's sunny where you're based. Do let us know in the chat function where you currently are. Let us know where you're tuning in from, how we can support you today. We've had some incredible signups for today's session, so I'm really excited to be hosting Chantal, all about how you can find out a bit more about your why and finding a bit more about why for your business as a small business owner, help you on your business journey. So if you're new to Lunch and Learn, then welcome. This is a weekly series that we run here at Enterprise Nation for 30 minutes every day to support you on your business journey, to educate you, to inspire, and hopefully give you some incredible takeaways as well. So a couple of house rules before I hand over to the lovely Chantal. If you have any questions at all, you can pop them into the chat function that you'll see on your GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. We will be leaving some time at the end of today's session to go through all your questions. If you are joining us on demand or you're tuning in a little late, not to worry, you can catch up on a recording which will be sent out to you via email and will also be uploaded onto the Enterprise Nation website as well. So not to worry, you will not miss out. Chantal is one of our advisors, so we will be popping in a few links into the chat where you can connect with Chantal, find out a bit more about her businesses and how you can get in touch to access that support as well. But without any further ado, Chantal, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your time. I'm super excited to hear more about how to find your why. So I will give you the virtual stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me and welcome everyone. I'm really excited to talk about this. So we'll get straight into it. So I'm talking about how to find your why. And this has been quite a hot topic lately. You hear a lot about corporate whys, personal whys, and so we'll dive right into it. But first, a little bit about me. I'm an accessibility and inclusivity advocate. I'm the founder of the neurodivergent friendly stationery company, Socolo. I'm also an intuitive life coach, helping people find their why. So these are the two areas where you can find me, and please feel free to reach out anytime. So on the agenda today, we will talk about what is a why and what does your why actually do? And we will figure out what is your personal why, and we'll do a storytelling exercise, and then we'll go into questions. So what is a why? Your why is a statement of purpose that describes why you do the work you do and why you live the lifestyle you do. It's your calling, your conviction, your mission statement. It's the thread of your career story, your core source of motivation, your compass for all decisions and actions, the reason for your life's work. It really frames everything that you do in your life, whether it's work, personal. It's a very powerful compass. And you might be asking, so what? The reason why you want to find your why is because you're more likely to be happier when you live a life that is aligned with your life purpose. You can't fake passion, and passion is more valuable than a good idea. So, for example, before I started Socolo, I was trying to start a company within the beauty industry, and it just really wasn't aligned to me at all. And even though I was really knowledgeable in it, and it was a great idea, and I found a really beautiful gap in the market, people would tell me all the time that, oh, like you're so knowledgeable, but no one ever once told me that I was passionate. Yet when I talk about Socolo, everyone all the time, I'm never not hearing that I'm passionate about it. It comes through everything that I say and everything that I do in regards to the company. So what does your why do? We all have the right to feel fulfilled from the work that we do and to feel inspired. To feel like we are contributing to something larger than ourselves. As leaders of organizations, we have the responsibility to help employees feel inspired and to feel valued, and that they are part of something larger than themselves. And having a clear why as a corporation or an organization really helps with this. Finding your why acts as a compass or filter to help you make better decisions. And this helps also dictate certain things of, is this aligned with my company? Is this aligned with my ethos, my ethics? So why became really popular due to this man here, Simon Sinek. Sorry, I'm really bad with reading. I am dyslexic, so I'm just gonna call him Simon. But basically, Simon wrote 2 books, and one was Start with Why, and the other one was Find Your Why. And he really feels that when we can add our why to our sales pitch, we can connect with our customers. We can create excitement, loyalty, and trust. So let's start with finding our why. And you can do this with me. So why do we work, right? Maybe it's money, but overall, it is, excuse me, but overall, it is to do the things that we value most. And what is it that you value? So it might be to live happy and healthy and to make positive changes in the world. Or maybe it's to have luxury and be surrounded by beauty and ease, right? All of those things are completely valid. Now, I want you to think, why do you want what you value? And so to go back to the other examples, right? Maybe you had a hard time finding a positive mindset growing up, and you don't want others to go through what you did. And so this is why you might want to make positive changes in the world. Or maybe you want to be surrounded by luxury because you didn't have a lot growing up, and you want and this is what's driving you, is that you want to be able to give your kids things that you didn't have. Now, for those who said money is completely valid, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But the thing with, money doesn't motivate. So it's not the motivation behind the action. So we need to go a bit deeper, right? So let's think about why you want money. Is it for freedom? Is it for travel? Is it to keep score? Is it to prove something to yourself or to others? Is it to give your children things that you didn't have? Is it to show that you have done more than others? Is it for security or safety? So looking at these areas, we can start to ask our questions and find the motivation behind the motivations behind why we want money. And this is your why. Money is not the thing that drives people. Why goes much deeper. It's about understanding what motivates and inspires. Oops. So, what is your why? First, we need to discover our why. Your why is born out of past experiences. It is your whole life stories, all of the lessons you learned, all of the experience you had, the values you have adopted while growing up. You're looking for that bright light that shows you at your natural best. So why discover for individuals? So knowing your why refreshes and renews your passion and connects you to your company's why. And this is often like your founder's why. So, a lot of people with Enterprise Nation, we're all starting startups. And so your why will often be thread into your organization's why if you are starting an organization. Now, if you're already in an organization and you're trying to find the why of your organization, it is often the founder's why, but it can also be based on the best elements of the existing organization. Okay, so I want, excuse me, we want to get to how you find your why, right? And that's just how you find it, is by asking yourself how questions. So collect stories that define moments in your life that have changed or impacted you, and really made who you are today. Then start asking yourself questions about these stories, but ask yourself how questions, and keep on asking yourself how and what questions until you start talking about how you felt rather than what actually happened. The hows and the emotions behind what actually happened are the juicy nuggets, these golden nuggets that we're going to use. The better you can capture the themes of how you felt, the easier it will be to put together your why statement that is authentic. So we're going to go through an exercise together to help you start collecting stories and help you discover your why. So I want you to take a moment and just close your eyes. We're going to get a bit hippie for a second. And just close your eyes and focus on your breath. You might also want to take a second just to grab a pen and paper. Have that nearby, but just close your eyes and focus on your breath. And enjoy the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. The sensation of your chest rising and falling as each breath enters and leaves the body. And just focus on your breath. Now think of a time that was really pivotal in your life, a moment that really impacted who you are today. And just collect that moment. Now think of that moment and answer this question. How did that moment make you feel? Feel free to take a moment to write that down. Once you're finished writing, just continue focusing on your breath. What is it about this experience that you absolutely love? Good. You've probably felt the same feeling before, but what is it about this story that makes it special? Maybe it was a really happy day, but what about this happiness was special and different than all the other times? How did this experience affect you and who you've become? What was the lesson from that experience that you still carry with you today? Of all the stories you could have chosen to do this exercise with, what makes this specific one so special that you chose to use it? If someone else features prominently in this story, how has that person made a difference in your life? Continue to breathe deeply. We will now go on to an exercise that will help you gather stories from your life. Keep your notes short and sweet. You will have time to expand your answers after the session. First question: who in your life has helped make you the person you are today? Was it a coach, a mentor, a teacher, a family member? Write down a specific time when they exemplified what you admired most about them, whether they were interacting with you or someone else. How did hearing their words or watching their actions make you feel? Next question. Think of a day at work when, as you headed home, you might have said to yourself, I would have done that for free. What happened that day to make you say that? Next question. Think of your worst day at work, the kind of day you hope to never go through again. What happened? What is the earliest specific happy childhood memory that comes to your mind? At school, what was an experience that you loved? What has been a pivotal moment in your life? One when you realized nothing would ever be the same. What happened that changed the way you think about the world and your role in it? Last question. What was a time when you gave yourself to help someone else, after which you felt unbelievably good, like you had done something that mattered? When you feel ready to do so, you can gently jiggle your fingers and toes, and you can re-enter the room and open your eyes. So the steps of finding your why. We have now gathered a bunch of stories. And the goal is to gather as many impactful stories and memories as you can. Try to go over 10 and try to collect them in as much detail as you can. Now, of course, we had to breeze through this really, really quickly, but I do suggest you to go back and spend quite a bit of time on this. Anywhere from around even 3 hours, just really dig deep. These details will act like golden nuggets for your why. Find the stories that had the most impact on your life. The quality, details, and strong emotions you feel when you tell this story is what matters most. And so it might help by recording yourself rather than writing these down, because you'll be able to hear the emotion in your voice when you listen back. And it's important to be objective. Find the thread that links your stories together. Work on this with a partner, as they will have an easier time seeing the pattern and being objective. The second step is mine for the gold nuggets. So after step one, after you've collected and written and recorded all of these stories and talked to a partner about them, you will notice that there are a few details and golden nuggets that really shine and stand out more than the rest. They will have you saying, that is me, or that is us, if you're doing this as a team or organization. Collect those gold nuggets and start to form a draft of your why. And allow it to be messy at first. You will eventually be able to get clarity with it. Which brings us to the next step. Draft and refine. Make the statements clear and simple and actionable and focused. Focus on the effect that you'll have on others, and put your why statement into a single sentence format, one that goes like this: to blank, so that blank. The first blank is the contribution you can make to others. The second blank is the impact of your contribution. So it's really important to know that we do not have a personal why and a professional why. Our why is just our why. It is everlasting, and it must be relevant in both your personal and professional life. It is the thing around everything that you do, the decisions you make, the tasks you perform, and the products you sell. So for example, with Socolo, I can very easily say that I'm a stationery company that makes stationery for adults with neurodiversities, but that's not really a why. My why is to help people feel seen and heard so that they can be their authentic selves. And this relates to all of my businesses. It relates to Socolo, and it relates to my life coaching business. So for example, with Socolo, the goal behind making my products was so that I truly believe that function and that something should be as beautiful as it is functional. So people are oftentimes embarrassed about asking for accommodations or using tools that help their neurodiversities. And I really wanted to create beautiful products that did both. And to focus on the emotional side of it. And the reason why I focus on adults is because adults are often forgotten about. People think that people with neurodiversities just grow out of it somehow the minute they turn 18 or leave the education system. And so I really wanted adults to feel seen and heard. And I managed to somehow do this through Socolo. And I literally get an email about once a week with someone crying because they finally feel seen and heard, and that a product has been made for them. That they don't need to be embarrassed about taking to the office, and that when they talk to their boss about using it, that it gives them a bit more authority to actually use it. So, and I also do this with life coaching very much in a much more obvious way. But let's continue. So where to use your why? Use it everywhere and all the time. Use it in your sales pitch, your branding, your job interviews, your brainstorming, your product development, your services, everywhere. Your why will build loyalty, trust, and excitement. It will attract clients that relate to you and your brand on a much deeper level. Your why is your compass and will keep your decisions in alignment with you. Your why will keep you passionate and feeling fulfilled. So this is just some suggested reading. First, find your why. It tells you all about finding your why. And some of the exercises that I did today were definitely inspired from this book. And they have even some of the same questions. So I definitely suggest checking this book out. The other one is Build a Brand in 30 Days. Now, I know this book might sound like a weird one to throw in here. However, this book really focuses on like the soul and heart of a company or business and why you do things. And without him saying that he's helping you find your why, he really does. And Start with Why kind of shows you more why finding your why is important. It's not so much about finding it, it's about why you would find it. So the first two I think are the most important. This is the end of my presentation, and I would like to now take some time to take questions.
Chantal, thank you so much for your gorgeous slides there, and a lovely, lovely activity as well for our audience. We really do appreciate that. And thank you to everyone for joining us as well. We've had a few comments come in, which I'd love to read out, Chantal, to you. Margaret's on the line, and she's saying, this is so good. I've not heard anything like this before. So I think a lovely session just to ground yourself as a small business owner to know, why you're starting an organization, but what is your inner why as well. So thank you so much, Chantal, for sharing. We have had a question from Emma, and Emma's keen to actually find out a bit more about your why, Chantal, if you wouldn't mind explaining a bit more into why, I know you touched on it briefly, but why you started your organizations and things like that.
Yeah, of course. So I have dyslexia and Irlen syndrome. Now, with Irlen syndrome, you'd normally see me with sunglasses all of the time because I need to wear tinted lenses. However, they're at the optometrist. My eyeglasses just changed. So, but with this, I was always known as the girl with sunglasses growing up in school. And I just got sick and tired of being seen as the girl with sunglasses and not Chantal. And so there came a point where when I finally entered high school, I didn't want to be that person anymore. And so I just stopped wearing my tinted lenses. And what ended up happening was I just struggled through high school. I had horrible headaches. Reading took a whole lot longer. However, people did actually start seeing me for me, which was weird because I'm actually like not doing something that really helps me. And I found once I took the glasses off, it was really hard to put them back on. So when I entered university, I had a really hard time wearing my glasses to classes. And even later on in life, when I was entering the workforce, wearing sunglasses in a workspace or to be client facing is seen as really rude. And unfortunately, my Irlen syndrome's quite bad. And so the lenses I need are really, really dark. So people cannot see my eyes. And so even though I'd always try to make an effort to like take off my glasses when I shake someone's hand and first introduce and then put them back on when the meeting would start, it was just really seen as like a no-no. And one way around that is I would use colored paper. And so I would use colored paper, and a lot of my bosses always thought I was being like really unprofessional and being like childlike for using colored paper when this was a tool that I needed to function and be effective in the workplace. And so I just hated it. And so I was always on a search for products that work for that are designed for adults, because unfortunately everything's designed for children. So if you can even find a colored notebook, there are Irlen syndrome notebooks out there, or like visual stress notebooks. However, they're designed for children who are learning how to read and write. You can't really bring that into a professional space. And when I could find a more professional looking notebook, or one that was looking a little bit more designed for adults, it tended to be of like a season for a stationery company. And so this is where I got fed up one night and I was like, this should be out there. Like, why are these adults not being seen? And so this is why I started Socolo. But it's all around this aspect of I felt really unseen and couldn't really be authentically me for a huge portion of my life. And I really felt like I kind of just was showing the world like just a part of me, and like I felt really held back. And so I want everyone to really be their authentic selves and to be really proud. I don't want someone to use tools that accommodate their needs and feel embarrassed. And so this is really like, even when I talk about it, I get like goosebumps on my arms and stuff, because this is so aligned to me. And yeah, sorry, I went really long on that question. Is there other questions? I hope that answered that.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Chantal, and for sharing that information. Not too long at all. Thank you so much. Lovely to find out a bit more about your background as well, and how Socolo, came about. So that's fantastic. We've had a question from Jenny. This will be the final question, as I can appreciate we have run out of time. But Jenny's asking, how would you run this exercise as a team? Would you look at each individual's personal stories?
So as a team, okay, so if you're looking at so if you're an organization and you're looking for the why of the whole organization, then you start asking these questions to find out the best moments within the business. what really has you shine, what is your core. So it's to find what makes you shine and what are the best elements of it. If it's a team within an organization, it's again that it's a little bit more made up of the people within it. So everyone might have a story of why they think that this team is particularly amazing. So I would get everyone to kind of write their own stories of being within the team, and then finding the golden nuggets within that to then see what the thread is throughout the team. So rather than the individual's thread of one person saying 20 stories and finding the thread throughout, it's collecting the stories from the team and finding the thread within the team's stories of multiple people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. Thank you so much. Really great exercise as well to use within a team. And so that's fantastic. Well, Chantal, thank you so much for joining us today on this Lunch and Learn. We've had a couple of thank yous come in. Jenny saying, thank you, this has been super helpful. This really makes a lot of sense. Miriam saying, it's fantastic that you started this business to help others, and a great reminder to keep coming back to why you are starting the business. So lovely to see that everyone here has taken away some golden nuggets as well. But before we close off, just a big shout out to our partners for today's session, HSBC, Currys and QuickBooks. This session is part of a Startup UK campaign where we support people start and grow their own businesses. We have popped a link in the chat where you can register for more Lunch and Learns, which are part of the Startup UK campaign, just like this one. You can actually register for free in-person workshops as well, and some online resources. So make sure you do check them out so we can support you all in the best way that we can. But Chantal, before we close off for today, do you have any final words of wisdom or leaving notes before we close today's session?
Yeah. Finding your why makes going to work every day so satisfying, and starting your business really, like, things just fall into place, honestly. And all of your hard days truly don't seem that hard because it's so in line with you. So I really encourage to find your why. And for people who want to know more about it, that book, Finding Your Why, is really good because it shows you tips and it gives you exercises for both organizations, teams, and individuals. So for anyone who wants to know more, that book's really great.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I think I can speak on everyone's behalf. We're all feeling super inspired after today's session. So that's wonderful. But again, thank you everyone for joining. You will receive a follow-up email which has a copy of this recording and a few extra resources as well to find out a bit more about how you can find your why. We will be back tomorrow for another Lunch and Learn, so make sure you do register, see what's out there for you, and they are all for free and welcome to everyone. So we look forward to seeing you on the next one. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your week, of your day. Chantal, again, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.